We want to thank you, Gwen Osborne, for this great opportunity to interview you. And thank you so much for this wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful interview.
truly appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to begin. I'm going to ask you, you have a podcast. I've been checking it out. You're really, really great. It's called Tea with Gwen Podcast, where you talk about health, wellness, beauty, and many other aspects, awareness topics. What inspired this podcast for you to inform the people and talk about great topics and have great guests on there?
Well, to be honest, it sounds really sad at first, but it does get better. So here's the story. I caught COVID right when everybody who else was 42 was dying of COVID. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to be next. And it was really bad. I was in pain. I couldn't breathe, and I've never had any problems with my lungs before, but my lung was filled, my right lung was filled with fluid, and it just didn't look good. And I was thinking thoughts like, well, what was the last conversation I had with my children? What are they going to remember of me? What legacy am I leaving behind? And it was really hard. But I got through, and clearly I'm here. Although I'd like to think of myself as an angel, I really am a live human being. And once I did, I was like, wow, really, I don't want to ever be asking myself that question ever again until I'm like 100, like when it's time for me to really start thinking about leaving this earth. So what am I leaving? I know I had left Price is Right for a reason, because I wanted to be heard. So how was I going to start that? And I knew that where I was at in my life was, how am I going to move forward, balancing businesses, being an entrepreneur, and being a single mother now? So what is the health and wellness that the women that are around me, what are they doing to maintain and sustain? So I just started thinking, well, I'm going to have to start interviewing some other women. Like I was the best house on the block. I was like, well, I'm cute on my block and you can go be cute on yours. But honestly, I was like, that's not going to work. I need to be in a real estate of women that is like-minded and that we can all empower and help each other. So I prayed for strong women to come into my life. And I reached out to Holly Robinson Peete as my first person, and she said yes. And that was my first live Tea with Gwen on Instagram, asking her how she balances it all out,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Yes. Now let's speak on beauty for a moment, Gwendolyn. You look amazing, of course.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So what is your secret, like, to staying in shape and remaining beautiful?
Yeah, so, going on from that story really is that I started really looking more into the health and wellness of myself. I wanted to make sure that I was capturing everything about wellness, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of it to be connected so that I could take care of myself if now I was a single mother in the best possible way for myself and my children. So I basically make sure that I do workouts that I enjoy and that I want to do. There's such a variety of different types of workouts. Like, there's not really a reason to get bored. If you don't want to be inside, you can be outside, If you don't want to do weights, then you can do yoga. So there's so many different options. So I always make sure I incorporate some type of movement in my life every day. And if I'm tired and I don't want to do a workout, I go for a walk. And I feel like that's something that helps the mind as well as the body, because it's so calming. You start thinking, and if I'm with my kids, it's fantastic. I feel like I'm teaching them how to remember just the simple things and to be in nature, And if it's without, then I'm either alone just listening to nature, or I'll put on podcasts that I love and I listen to all kinds of stories that are interesting. And I really feel like I'm, just nourishing my soul and my brain with everything I need. I also meditate, and I've been getting better and better at that. I'm about to get certified this year in meditation.
Congrats.
And I'm currently taking a nutrition course as well with NASM. And so then I will be certified in nutrition. And the goal is for me to be able to do retreats so that I can do meditation retreats with everybody who would like to come and make their own health and wellness better for a weekend, take what they learn, and also listen to some speakers. So I've been definitely, getting out with some speakers and talking to them, because that's kind of the next step too.
Oh, that's amazing. You always had this vibrant glow, this energy that
All
make
the
you
time.
feel good. And and when I check it out, your Instagram page, we check out your photos and videos. You always enthused, having fun and just excitement, and just filled with so much excitement and energy.
Yeah, and that's what I love about you, Gwendolyn. So what keeps you inspired? What keeps you moving?
I think I've always been a lover of life. I think I was just born that way. I've been raised with divorced parents, and my mom was in Miami growing up. My dad was in England. So I had to learn how to adapt really quickly and easily to different situations and cultures. My mom is Jamaican. My dad is English and Irish. So I had to really figure things out and how to just be happy in environments that feel like they might not be. So the resiliency was there. And I've always been a person to turn something around into, well, what's the greatness that can come out of this? And especially during the pandemic, that type of mental attitude and fortitude was great, because it was like, okay, this feels like everybody else is going oh my gosh, the world is ending and this is awful. When I wasn't looking at it that way, I was like, okay, so what do we do now with this time that is quiet, that we've been given to spend with people who we love and to study, now that kind of things are shut down, there's no FOMO, right? Nobody's wondering what everybody else is doing. We know what everybody else is doing right now. We know everybody's just sitting at home. So how do we make the most of that, And that was why Tea with Gwen happened, because I was like, well, if everybody else is sitting around, everybody, then they're available to talk, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just think that having gratitude, I think that for sure is something I've always, my thoughts come out of a space of gratitude. So what do I have right now? What do I have? If I'm in a room and all I've got is me, okay, well, what about me do I love? What should we do, brain? What have we got going on? I think that when you learn to love yourself and what's good about it, you can't really ever be bored, because there's so many things about us individuals that we have to just make sure we take the time to explore that.
Yeah, your attitude and your whole expression shows love, and we just feel that energy, and it's great.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So when we last spoke, when you were doing some amazing things in film.
Oh yes, y'all talked about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. We know you have credits on The Bold and Beautiful, Beauty and the Baller, Eve Huff, Ocean Ocean Avenue, and so forth. It goes on. Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned earlier, you was on The Price is Right, and you did that for 12 years. And recently, you played in the box hit film Wonder Woman 1984 as one of the Diana's Princess Fellow Amazon. What was that whole experience like for you?
Wow, I mean, it was a life changer. Wonder Woman 1984, I got to be in London to film that. I mean, I'm from Bath, but being in England, of course, felt like home. And being amongst so many other seriously empowering women, and a lot of them were 20 years younger than me. But two of them were athletes and seriously competitive in Olympic athletes, and others were dancers. A couple of them were there's some of the stunt women were actual chemists, and a lot of those stunt women, surprisingly, that if you don't know, they are extremely intelligent. A lot of them will be very clear about the fact that they have ADD and they can't sit still. So they use all of this intelligence with their physical bodies to be able to jump over certain things that you and I, who don't do that every day, would be so scared of doing. But they have scientifically worked it out so well with how far it is and how long it will take and what the wind is and the capacity of the weight they're like superhumans, you know? So I'm around all of these women and I'm so inspired, and they're all from different parts of the world. I learned so very much about other women, but also it was a reflection of myself. And I was like, wow, well, you're not here as a spectator. You're one of them, Gwendolyn. You're one of them. Take that in, take it in, and really see yourself as that, and see the power that you hold and that you can now give others like they've given to you. So when I came back from that set, I was ready to take on the world.
Wow. That's beautiful. Wow. Wow.
So regarding acting, which did you have an interest in first, acting or modeling?
To be completely honest, I mean, as I was growing up, and I was always very tall, I'm 5'10" now, and I was 5'9" at like 11 years old. I was always asked, are you a model? Do you want to model? And so I definitely had a curiosity for it. And it seemed very intriguing to me. And I would look at all of the catalogs, because remember back in the day when we'd get catalogs in the mail? And actually, Terry Seymour, who used to date Simon Cowell, was a big mixed race. She was a big mixed race model back in the day for some of those big catalogs. And so I remember looking at her being like, I could be like her. Look at her hair. It's so pretty. And she knows how, she has the right products for her hair. I was like, how did she get the right products? You know, it was all these things. And so I would think about, I would imagine being a model here and there, but honestly, I've always been singing and acting like from the womb. I grew up playing the piano with my dad and all that. So to be a performing artist was always the goal, was always the dream. When I got pregnant at 17 in Miami, that was a big changer for me, a big life changer, because then it was like, okay, even though I'd been in a performing arts college in London at that point, and then I came to Miami and I was in New World School of the Arts, which is another performing arts college. I had to stop. I had to figure out how I was going to take care of this beautiful little spirit that I know had been placed inside of me to take care of. And I was like, I'm going to do everything I can for us. This little girl and I are about to create our own world, and we are going to take it on, you know, with the fierceness. And I started modeling right after I had her in Miami at Irene Marie Modeling Agency. And that was what took care of us. You know, I was able to, you know, be a businesswoman, be a self-employed mother who was able to figure out her own time. And to be honest, I don't know if at the time I really knew that I was taking all of this on. I was just taking care of my responsibility, and also pursuing my dreams and goals, and realizing that I could save money to take care of her and for her to be able to create her dreams later on too. But within that, I still, you know, was able to get my SAG card. I was still going out for commercials. I still started a couple movies in Miami. And once I did get that SAG card, me and my little 5-year-old at the time got in the car, we drove across America, and we came to LA. And I was like, we're ready, let's go, world.
Oh, wow. And that's how you got on The Price is Right?
Yeah, I came out to LA in 2001. I was still doing runway modeling at the time, and I was starting to get into, I just finished Ocean Avenue, which was a series regular in Miami. And I had just started getting into more films. And so that's when I had done Any Given Sunday and all these other ones with small parts, but they were enough for me to go, okay, I can believe in myself enough that I can get bigger parts in LA. And so Price is Right just came as one of the auditions. I had just been working on The Bold and the Beautiful, and one of the backstage crew saw me over there and came to the producers at Price is Right, and they said, there's a girl over on The Bold and the Beautiful. She just so happens to have a bikini on right now, so you can see all of her, and I think she'd be good. And so that's what got me the audition, and I went over and I was just like, hey, I'm ready, and that's history from there. So, yeah,
that's great. And I know when they saw you, you had this great smile on your face, and they said, I'm choosing her.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't even realize at the time they'd never had a girl. My hair was like Halle Berry cut at that time, so it was super short. And Bob Barker at the time had never, this is 2005, had never had a girl that once you put heels on was taller than him. And so at 5'10" with heels on, I was like 6'1", 6'2", and he's just above 6 foot. But I heard him say to somebody, he was like, I like her smile, so she can stay.
That's great.
Yes. Now let's go back hit music for a moment. You have an amazing voice, of course.
Thank you.
Can anybody expect any new projects, music projects, or anything from you?
I mean, I do have Funny How Time Flies is out and available on iTunes, which is a remake of the song Funny How Time Flies, Janet Jackson, but I redid the words. So it's called an interpolation. And that one is available right now. I have not had a chance. I did a Christmas little like melody of trilogy of Christmas songs. That's out and available too. And I haven't had a chance to record since, but there are dates set for me to go back in the studio. So who knows the rest of the year.
Awesome, awesome. And let's talk about your skincare product. I don't want to butcher the name. You got to mention the name to me. I want to make sure.
So it is a mixture of my 3 children's names, London, Malloy, and Monique, and it's called Lomolique.
Oh, I said that earlier, didn't I?
Sure did.
I should have just said it. I should have just said it. Okay. Like it has a unique name, and it was featured in People magazine. Can you tell us a little about this amazing product you have?
Absolutely. So Lomolique is an anti-aging facial oil. And so there are a lot of facial oils out there, but this particular one has an anti-aging component in it, which actually renews your cells. And it soaks straight in and it's not greasy. Like you put it on at nighttime and it does smell really great, just like all the other oils. But the secret is that once it soaks in, you know you're going to wake up in the morning and look 5 to 10 years younger. Like this is the point. So that is what is unique and special about Lomolique. And it's non-toxic, it's cruelty-free, it's vegan. It's got 6 major essential oils that do all kinds of things like curing the dark spots that come, like rosacea, red areas on your face. It evens out your skin tone. So, and this all comes from these natural oils, you know, that are all blended together specifically for older women's skin, so 30 and over.
Yeah, awesome, awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So, as a successful woman in entertainment, would you like to give any words of encouragement for young women who would like to be as successful as yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I am here for every and any woman. I'm every woman. So I want every girl to feel like they can be every woman. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to suppress themselves or ever feel like they have to make themselves smaller, because your light cannot be dimmed by people who want to dim it, okay? You better make that light shine, is what I got to say. Enjoy who you are as a person. Love all of who you are and understand that you have been given all of that to give it back. Once I realized that the gifts that I have been given are for giving to other people, that's when it took the pressure off of me, because I realized I'm here to give to others. So when you realize that that's why you've been given the gifts you've been given, there's no reason to be nervous anymore or to be thinking all of the bad thoughts about it anymore. No, get rid of it and just keep moving forward with all of your positivity.
That's great. That's great. And Gwendolyn, before we conclude the interview, would you like to add anything that we haven't discussed or spoke about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to give a shout out to my daughter, Monique Green, who is in Big Shots right now, my eldest one. She came out in Disney Plus Big Shots this year as a series regular with John Stamos. So that was like the dream fulfilled for us, because that's what I set out to do. For her to be able to accomplish her dreams and for me to do mine too. So this year I came out Wonder Woman 1984 and she came out as a series regular on Disney Plus Big Shots.
Wonderful.
Wow, that's wonderful. You're a great role model too. And yeah, absolutely. A lot of people need to see people like you and look up to you, because you're just positive and have great energy, as I said earlier, and doing a lot of great things. So you have a great attitude about everything.
Thank you. One thing I didn't say that I think that people should know is that I was on welfare. So when I was 17 and I found out I was pregnant, I was on welfare for a year. I gave myself 1 year. And I said, I'm going to work as hard as I can to get off of this. And once this baby is 1 year old, I'm going to be earning enough money to be taking care of us. And that's what I did. So I've literally gone from that to now being a homeowner in LA and, not just managing my daughter anymore because she has superseded, that she doesn't need me as a manager anymore, but to take care of my own home and my 2 children now. So, becoming a business owner myself. So I just want girls to know that they are worth it. They can do it, and just put your mind to it, and it can all happen.
Okay. And for everyone that's watching this, Gwen, when you mention work, I just want this to be an inspirational piece. When you mention work, is work just a phone call on the phone and you're waiting to sit back for someone to call you, or you actually out there doing the work, as you say, and making the moves, connecting with people, networking? What is work for as getting people to go out there and make things happen?
That is a great question. It is all of it. It is all of it. I have an agent who, for my auditions, I do wait for those auditions. And while I'm waiting for those auditions, I'm in class and I'm studying, and I'm also helping my daughter with her other auditions. And she has a boyfriend who also works in the business, so I'll help with his auditions. My little one, she's just started, so we've started studying and she's been submitting auditions. So that's just the acting. And then for Lomolique, it's constant. That is marketing, that is emails, that is constantly looking at how you can market yourself better. It's about making sure that I keep customer service 100% for the customers I already have, and gaining new ones. It's about keeping up with my Instagram to make sure that you realize that I am a true brand all around to do with health and wellness, so that you know that everything I do comes authentically from my heart into what I'm doing. And Tea with Gwen is about meetings once or twice a week, and making sure that I'm keeping up with where those episodes are, who's on them, making sure I'm marketing those. So I got to keep up with my team for Tea with Gwen as well. And then for the music, it just kind of happens when it can.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
You have an amazing story.
Yes.
Very inspirational.
Yes.
Thank you. And, just staying alive and feeling happy is really what it's about, right? Because you don't want to just be living. You want to feel alive. So that's what I'm constantly doing, taking in those moments. Like, remember when you're in the moments that's what you work towards to get, and enjoy them.
Awesome, Gwen.
Yep.
So we just want to thank you again for taking out the time out your busy schedule and hanging out with us and giving us some great information.
This has been great.
Yes.
So you guys are so lovely. Keep doing what you do. Thank you.
You as
Thank
well.
you. All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Hold your head up high to the sky.